Before the French and Indian War, the English colonists had it easy, living life in luxury and enjoying Britain's lack of taxing them. Then the French and Indian War happened. Britain, now down a lot of money, decided and suddenly remembered that the colonists were a thing and hit them with tax after tax. The more taxes that the British employed onto the colonists, the more anger spurred. Thus, a revolution sprang up. The colonists separated into three factions. On one side, you've got the Patriots, the men responsible for the battles at Lexington and Concord. On the other side, you've got the Loyalists, men who were still loyal to the king and didn't want a revolution. Then, on the neutral side, people who didn't want to have any opinions, but we're not going to mention these guys all that much because they're not really important. Now, before anything extremely drastic happened, the Patriots tried to fight the tax acts. Firstly, Patriots, part of a group called the Sons of Liberty, dressed as natives and dumped tea into the Boston Harbor. This is now known as the Boston Drink Gap, the Boston Tea Party. After that turned sour on them, redcoats forced the harbor closed to force the colonists to pay for the tea. The colonists came together and formed the First Continental Congress. They discussed what to do about the issues everyone felt were getting too much. A letter to the king was written, and subsequently ignored, and then they came to a conclusion. They will fight for independence. While all the farmers, blacksmiths, and other men were training to be a militia, everything coalesced. Tensions on the part of the colonists, the king placing more pressure on them, all fell into one moment. Militia and redcoat in a standoff. No one knows who fired the first shot, but that shot is now dubbed the shot heard around the world, and such kicked off the war for independence. The Second Continental Congress came together and finally declared independence. Now, some say that the colonists shouldn't have won the war. The odds were stacked against them. Well, they needed the victory more than the British soldiers. They were desperate. The British soldiers were fighting for the king and had little to no stake in the war, while the colonists were fighting for their livelihood, their freedom. Finally, the Battle of Yorktown. The British surrender, crowning the colonists as the victor and granting them independence from Britain. The Treaty of Paris instated a ceasefire, and like that, the war was over.